Life on Earth has spent billions of years evolving under familiar conditions. Gravity, atmosphere, and the planet's magnetic field have shaped every species we know today. But what happens when animals leave Earth behind? Could space evolution turn them into completely new species? Space is the most extreme environment life has ever faced. Zero gravity alters the body in ways no organism was ever designed for. Radiation bombards DNA, causing unpredictable mutations. Isolation from Earth's natural cycles disrupts biological rhythms. If animals lived in space for generations, evolution might take a strange new path. To understand this, we need to look at how evolution works on Earth. Evolution is driven by mutation, natural selection, and adaptation to the environment. Over millions of years, life has adapted to deserts, oceans, mountaintops, and even underground caves. But space presents challenges unlike anything on Earth. Microgravity weakens bones and muscles, changing body structures over time. Fluids shift toward the head, affecting circulation and sensory functions. The lack of atmospheric pressure could lead to profound physiological changes. And radiation in space is far more intense than anything animals experience on Earth. High-energy cosmic rays damage DNA at a rapid rate. Some mutations might be harmless, while others could trigger dramatic transformations. Could these changes push species down an entirely new evolutionary path? To answer that, we can look at how animals have already responded to space travel. Since the 1940s, scientists have sent living organisms beyond Earth's atmosphere. Fruit flies, mice, frogs, and even jellyfish have spent time in microgravity. Each species reacted differently, but the results were always striking. Jellyfish raised in space had trouble orienting themselves when they returned to Earth. Mice adapted by changing their movement patterns, using a unique floating strategy. Russian tortoises sent on a lunar orbit mission survived in space for a full year. But none of these animals lived in space long enough to evolve into a new species. For true space evolution, we would need multiple generations of animals reproducing in space. Could mammals give birth successfully in microgravity? Would embryos develop normally without Earth's gravitational cues? On Earth, gravity helps shape skeletal structure and organ placement. Without it, an animal's body might grow in unexpected ways. Imagine a rodent species evolving longer limbs for better movement in low gravity, or a bird developing new adaptations to fly in artificial habitats. Over hundreds or thousands of generations, these changes could accumulate. At what point would the species be so different that it no longer resembles its earthly ancestors? The most dramatic changes could come from the effects of radiation. On Earth, the atmosphere and magnetic field protect life from cosmic rays. But in deep space, radiation exposure is constant and severe. This bombardment could accelerate genetic mutations at an unprecedented rate. Most mutations are neutral or harmful, but some could lead to beneficial adaptations. Could space radiation create entirely new traits, unlike anything found on Earth? Some scientists believe prolonged space exposure could drive rapid evolutionary change. This idea is called adaptive radiation, where species evolve quickly to fill new environments. In the isolated, extreme conditions of space, natural selection might operate at high speed. If an animal's DNA changed in just the right way, a new species could emerge faster than on Earth. But survival in space would require overcoming massive biological obstacles. On Earth, gravity influences everything from digestion to reproduction. In space, bodily fluids behave differently, affecting metabolism and nutrient absorption. Could an animal evolve a new digestive system suited for life in zero gravity? The absence of natural predators in space could also reshape evolution. Without threats, animals might lose defensive traits like camouflage or sharp teeth. But new dangers would arise: radiation, oxygen scarcity, and limited food sources. Would animals evolve new ways to survive in artificial space habitats? Or could they develop completely unknown survival mechanisms? If space colonization becomes a reality, humans might bring animals to other planets. Mars, with its weak gravity and thin atmosphere, would be an alien environment for any Earth species. Over generations, animals could adapt in ways we can't yet predict. Perhaps mammals would develop stronger hearts to pump blood in low gravity, or insects might evolve new respiratory systems to survive in different atmospheric conditions. If animals lived on a planet with no sunlight, could they evolve to sense infrared instead? These changes wouldn't happen overnight, but they could shape entirely new forms of life. We've already seen Earth species adapt to extreme environments. Deep-sea creatures have evolved to survive crushing pressure and complete darkness. Tardigrades can endure radiation, dehydration, and the vacuum of space itself. Some bacteria have already shown the ability to mutate and thrive in space. In 2020, researchers discovered that microbes aboard the International Space Station had evolved. These bacteria developed resistance to radiation and extreme conditions. If microorganisms can adapt this quickly, could larger animals follow the same path? One of the biggest questions in space evolution is how reproduction would change. Could mating behaviors shift if animals lived in artificial habitats? Would pregnancy work the same way in microgravity? On Earth, some species already have unusual reproductive strategies. Certain amphibians lay eggs that develop without water. Some reptiles reproduce through parthenogenesis, requiring no fertilization. If life had to evolve new ways to reproduce in space, it could lead to bizarre new species. Would future generations of space-borne animals look entirely alien compared to their ancestors? What if they lost the ability to return to Earth altogether? Over thousands of years, they might adapt so completely that Earth's gravity and atmosphere would be deadly to them. Could space animals develop traits we can't even imagine? Perhaps transparent skin to absorb radiation, or enhanced neural networks to process information differently in zero gravity. Space might create conditions for a level of evolution Earth has never seen. The ultimate test would be whether space-evolved animals could survive independently. If Earth lost contact with a colony of animals in space, what would they become over generations? Could we one day discover creatures that started as Earth animals but evolved into something unrecognizable? This raises profound questions about the future of life beyond our planet. If space can drive new evolution, then Earth is only one chapter in the story of life. Perhaps the first true extraterrestrial species will not come from another planet. Maybe it will emerge from animals we send into space, adapting to an environment completely different from Earth. Space evolution could prove that life is not bound to a single world. It could show that biology is more flexible and resilient than we ever imagined. One day, the animals we know today may become something else entirely, a future species born from Earth but no longer of it. The first true space creatures, evolving in ways we can only dream of. And when that day comes, we may finally realize that life's potential has no limits.